It's Showtime Synergy. The latest review podcast from the GeekCast Radio Network is here. So join TFG1Mike, Nicole Hailstorm, and myself, Lady Rec, as we will be reviewing all 65 episodes of Joe and the Holograms in a 25-episode-long podcast. You can find Showtime Synergy on iTunes and GeekCastRadio.com. We are the truly outrageous podcast that you want to be listening to.
And the Masters of the Universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!" Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. Our friends, the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. Together we defend Castle Grayskull from the evil forces of Skeletor.
Hello, this is OptimusSolo, and welcome to the 44th chapter in Tales of Eternia. With me, as he has been for the other 43 chapters, is the one and only TFG1Mike. Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready for the final, in one way, the final journey into the powers of Grayskull?
I'm ready for the final journey of Eternia.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to get to Etheria already.
All right. Well, I guess we can't waste too much time then. We got to get it there. In this episode of Tales of Eternia, we will be giving you our thoughts on episode 129, To Save the Creatures, and the final episode of the entire series, episode 130, The Cold Zone. So we hope you're ready one last time, because it's time to go back to Eternia.
When King Randor has a birthday party, everybody celebrates. Oh, I love parties! I bet you're even more excited about the special award King Randor is giving to your parents' animal sanctuary. Not really.
Sanctuary? What's that?
Well, it's just another way to say shelter, Orko. A place where the animals are kept safe.
Don't you care about the sanctuary, Ricky? I guess so. But it's a lot of work taking care of all those animals. And it's a lot more fun at parties.
All right, to start things off today, like I said, episode 129, To Save the Creatures, written by Don Heckman, air date Friday, December 7th, 1984. And again, that's according to a bunch of different websites. That could be wrong. I don't know if this series really came back and had one episode air on a Monday and then it was done, or if somewhere, some of the different source materials have gotten the dates wrong. But according to multiple sources, it says this aired Friday, December 7th, 1984. The plot...
Wait, when was just out of curiosity, when was the last episode? The
Thursday, the December 6th.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying I don't know if this series ended on a Monday. That seems weird, but...
Yeah.
But in this episode, Skeletor plans to replace his Beast Man with the evil inventor Maddock, who has built a machine that can digitize wild animals and have them appear in another place, such as during King Randor's birthday celebration. So for the evil warriors, we have Beast Man, Evil Lyn, and Skeletor. And for the masters, we have the regulars. And the PSA is about anything worth anything. Takes time, work, and effort. So don't try to cut corners or do this, that, and the other. So, as far as the plot about a replacement for Beastman, what do you think?
Why hasn't he tried this before?
Right.
I know. Last week I bitched and complained and whatever else about all the reuse everything, or what I thought was a reuse of everything. But it's one of those things where we've had almost 130. This is the 129th episode out of 130, and he's threatened to replace Beastman so many times before for shit that Beastman actually has done. And Beastman didn't. It's not like Beastman sat there and screwed up in this episode. He's just automatically going to replace him, really?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of replacing some of the evil warriors is a clever idea that could have been done a bunch of different times and could have been done effectively. I don't know if this was that time, and I don't know if they came up with a good character as a possible replacement anyways. If they would have come up with some type of cool, like, actual evil warrior that maybe wasn't used as much, or, you know, maybe a lesser known evil warrior, like, that would have been cool. But this guy was just kind of lame. So it comes down to, like I always say, it comes down to execution. But I don't mind the idea of a plot centering around a possible replacement.
I know that it wouldn't work for this plot, and I know that we didn't get to see this character until She-Ra, but it would have been awesome if this was Beastman versus Grizzlor.
Yeah.
That would have been really friggin' cool.
Yeah, or like a first appearance of him, and then he, you know, shows up later in the other series or something. Like, there was a lot of things they could have done with the idea of replacements, but the plot alone is not enough to make me hate this. I like the idea of replacing an evil warrior and the kind of the function that Beastman held. So, you know, and the PSA is fine. You know, no shortcuts, and you got to actually put in effort if you want to be good at something. So I have no problem with that.
I'll say this for the PSAs for this series, at least they never had any fire safety or oven safety or laundry safety or water safety or, you know, any of those crappy, make no sense PSAs from, it's kind of obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, so, all right, well, let's get to Castle Grayskull and see what we liked about To Save the Creatures.
Skeletor, I am ready.
Well, it took you long enough. Remain there until the device is tested.
Yes, Skeletor, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
He was just a bit hungry, but he's got a full belly now.
Looks like you were right, Ricky.
Oh, yes, Ricky's always had a magic touch with animals. Why, I remember once...
Oh, Dad!
All right, I won't embarrass you. Besides, we have quite a problem on our hands right now.
What's that, Doctor?
It's the big-tooth furlons. We haven't seen them for nearly a week. Now, that's very unusual, and I'm worried.
Maybe they've gone to Blue Valley to cool off. I tracked them there once.
It's possible, but it's hard to be certain without actually checking.
Well, why don't we go to Blue Valley for you?
Well, I like that, Adam. Ricky knows the way.
All right, we find ourselves at Castle Grayskull for one of the last times to talk about if there was anything good about To Save the Creatures. I will let you do the honors. What did you like about this episode?
Beastman made the entire episode. Please don't let it work. Please don't let it work. Please don't let it work. Right. It was like he had, you know, little red booties on and he was clicking his heels or something. I don't know. I'm trying not to get into Snake Mountain here, but all the other times that an evil warrior has been left, pardon the pun, out in the cold, they've always gone and tried to do something that they would eventually screw up. But it's like Beastman is just sitting there waiting the entire time. Yeah. I just found that hilarious. I do like the designs on all the evil creatures, or on the quote-unquote evil creatures, but the creatures. I like the idea. And now, at first I thought this was going to be another circus episode. Because the Eternian circus music starts this episode. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh no, Kevin's going to start bitching and complaining. But I really can't fault him on this one, because 3 circus episodes in one series would have been way too much.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yeah. What do you got?
Well, I mean, obviously, like I said, I like the idea of Beastman being replaced. I think that's clever. I like that they tried to make one of the guys sound like Jimmy Stewart. That was kind of funny. He-Man had a cool catapult move with the bees into the thing. I thought that worked well with the animation. And I will bring this up again here in a second, but at least this kid had some intelligence for once. I will bring him up again in our next segment, but I do like that the message about not being ashamed, not the PSA, but kind of the inner episode message here about not being ashamed of whatever you have a passion for or whatever you're smart about or intelligent about. Like, obviously he had a lot of knowledge about, you know, the animal life and the creature life of this planet. And I think it was something that would be a good message sent towards kids that, you don't have to be afraid if you have a passion for this or a passion for that or this, that, and the other, that you can like that stuff and not be ashamed about it and not try to hide it. There's nothing wrong with having, emotions or feelings or passions for things that maybe aren't mainstream. So I liked that part of it, and I liked that the kid actually was smart and not just a bumbling idiot. He is still a kid, which we'll get to later, but at least he had some intelligence. So that's probably the parts I liked most about To Save the Creatures. So, like I said, I got a couple things to talk about in Snake Mountain, though, so let's make our way there.
The anger beam is ready, Your Greatness.
Excellent! If this invention of yours controls the animals better than Beastman does, your rewards will be great!
Then Beastman can be replaced. And about time!
Yes! This device of yours should be a great help in ruining King Randor's party.
All right, we find ourselves at Snake Mountain for episode 129, To Save the Creatures. I just have one Snake Mountain moment for this one, and that is, ugh, another kid.
What a brat.
He might have been smart, he had some intelligence going for him, which a lot of the kids didn't in this series, but he's still an annoying freaking kid. So, yeah. Didn't like the kid.
What a brat.
What about you?
Well, I just started mine with what a brat. Well, with He-Man. He's standing out in the open. How does Skeletor's view screen not see him transform?
How do you really feel?
Okay, and I wrote this down, and I know they're supposed to be saving the animals from the preserve, but this episode felt like it was just there. I wrote down, so what creatures are they supposed to be saving other than themselves? Because it's like, once the creatures go evil, yes, they have to save the creatures, but they also have to save themselves and everybody else. So it's like, what the hell? And Skeletor's way to take over Eternia is by ruining King Randor's party. Seriously? Seriously? And where's Grayskull in all this? How many times in the last 10 episodes have we actually been at Castle Grayskull? Probably, I would say 0.
Possibly.
So, yeah, that's what I got.
All right, so, we're not saying a bunch of bad stuff, but doesn't necessarily mean it was a great episode. So let's see how we fell as far as the rankings go for To Save the Creatures. Let's get to awards and rankings.
I just don't get it. The Furlons couldn't have just vanished, but they did.
Listen, Chimperillas, hold it down. I said hold it down. We're trying to figure out something here, and you're making it very hard to concentrate.
Funny, yeah? Well, I oughta... Wait, Orko! They can't help it. You see, they're Chimperillas. To a Chimperilla, everything is funny.
Oh, really? Let's see how funny they'll find this. Hit the button, Maddox.
All right, it's time to hand out some hardware. We only have 2 opportunities to still do that. And I will start by giving out a Havoc Staff.
To the kid?
No.
Oh.
That Havoc Staff is going to Beastman for being a complete... I don't know, I guess you could call him a traitor in one, for lack of a better term, but he helps He-Man. I know he doesn't want this guy to succeed, but he goes out of his way to help He-Man. What kind of evil warrior are you? You should be kicked out of your spot if that's all it takes for you to turn on Skeletor and to help He-Man. He-Man was in trouble and he helped him find the thing that they shouldn't have been able to find. Bad Beastman, you're not a very good evil warrior.
Okay, but let me defend him just a little bit here, okay? He's not going against Skeletor. He is and he isn't going against Skeletor. He is more so wanting this other guy to fail so he can get his damn job back.
Yeah, but you can have a shot to hurt He-Man, you hurt He-Man. What about you?
I think his job security was more important. Obviously, even though the kid learns a lesson in the end, Havoc Staff to the kid for his attitude. And Skeletor. Yet Skeletor gets a power sword for the funny lines he had in this episode. I thought that was absolutely awesome.
All right. What do you rank this one, sir?
I'm going to give it a 2.
2 out of 5 for you.
Yep.
2.5 out of 5 for me.
It just didn't... It isn't... I hate to sound like a broken record, folks, and I know I've been sounding like this since episode 40, but I was expecting a hell of a lot more storytelling and not just random one-off, episodes of the day or episodes of the week for the end of this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not it's not that great of an episode. I enjoy the idea of trying to replace Beastman, but the character they do it with is lame. I found myself bored throughout the episode. The kid annoys me. So, yeah, I mean, 2.5 out of 5 is the best I could give it.
They could have brought back Gorthon, whatever. One of the earlier villains from like season 1 that said he was working for Skeletor. Right. They could have brought back any number of random one-off villains other than just this weird.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's all to say about this episode.
Wait a minute. Was that the toy maker without any makeup on?
Might have been. Hopefully it improves from here for our final episode. So let's make our way to the final episode of the series coming up next, episode 130.
Okay, now, is everybody ready?
Orko, I don't think I've ever been ready for one of your tricks.
Which means he's just about as ready as he'll ever be, Orko, so let her rip.
Okay, thanks. I think. 1, 2, 3 colored balls. And now for some juggling. No hands this time.
I can't look.
3 I see and 3 I say. Round and round and round away.
Orko.
Now what? Oops.
Those pieces of equipment are irreplaceable. If anything happens to them, I'll...
Don't worry, Man-at-Arms. I'll get them. Get back here. See, even they won't listen to me. Made it. Now for a little catch. Got him. All nice and safe, too. Yike! Land shark! Land shark! Land shark!
More trouble!
Cobra Khan!
What are you doing here?
I seek He-Man.
Why? What do you want with him?
I speak only to He-Man. Where is he?
He's unavailable. So if you want He-Man, you'll have to tell us why.
Yeah!
Very well. My people, the Reptons, are in great danger. Getting cold. Eternal flame that warms them is out. If it's not fixed soon, they will hibernate. Will sleep forever.
I never thought I'd see the day when Cobra Khan would come to He-Man for help.
I still haven't seen it, and from the sound of it, I don't want to.
Well, I can't speak for He-Man, but the Reptons have never done anything to us. They're a peaceful people.
Except for him.
But we can't let one bad sheep or snake spoil it for the rest. Take us to your people, Cobra Khan, and we'll see what we can do. Meanwhile, we have a truce. Agreed?
Yes. Truce. Agreed.
And finally, up next, the last episode of the series, episode 130, The Cold Zone. Written by J. Michael Straczynski. We end with him, as we have seen a lot of here in Season 2. As I said, according to my sources, air date of Monday, December 10th, 1984. I apologize if that's wrong. The plot is Cobra Khan asking He-Man for help in restoring the eternal flame of his people, the Reptons. The heroic warriors agree to a truce, but find themselves betrayed as soon as they enter the Cold Zone. For the evil warriors, we have the one and only Cobra Khan, and for the masters, we have the Regs. And the PSA is Man-at-Arms talking about making wise decisions and thinking things through. Now,
Okay, wait. Stop.
Nope, before you get to
Stop.
it. Nope.
No, stop. No, stop. I just want to talk about the PSA for a second here. Stop. This is the final episode of the series. They couldn't be bothered to have an entire cast shot or the entire cast do a PSA and have some sort of thank you at the end of it.
They probably didn't know it was the last episode.
Sort of. But I'm just saying, well, they probably did because they were probably in production on She-Ra by this point.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is this episode was probably produced and done before they actually knew that they were not going to be able to make more. There might have even been other episodes that were already in production.
That might have been, but I'm just saying, it's like, as a series finale, this episode, no. As a series, the episode on its own, and we'll get into this, I do like the episode on its own, but as a series closer, no.
I think I'm going to disagree with that. I think it could have made the perfect episode series closer had other things happened later. But my only probably regret, and I didn't even think about it until right now when we were listing the Evil Warriors and the Masters, is obviously it's a little bit leaves you a little bit wanting since Skeletor's not in the final episode. You know, you'd prefer Skeletor and He-Man at least had some type of face-off or appeared in the final episode. But like I said, I don't think we can fault the writers or anybody involved in the episode because I doubt that this was known that this was going to be the last episode. It's not like they were like, hey, this is your final episode and this is what they came up with. I think every writer worth anything, if they know they're doing the final episode, they would do something, you know. So I don't think they knew that this was the final episode. But the whole idea of the Cobra Khan centric episode and dealing with the Reptons and his people, I am all about that. That's something we haven't got to see. We talked about, like I keep referencing, we asked for writers, we asked for new characters, and we also, one thing I asked for was some backstory between some of them, and we get that a little bit here with Cobra Khan. We get to see his people a little bit. So I'm all about the snake-centric episode. I know last time you were talking about, where are all the snake people? I know we don't get some of the more like known-named snake people, but there's definitely some snake people here, and I think this would have been a perfect episode to lead into a whole nother series or a whole nother focus in season 3 if they had gone there. Like introduce us to the snake people and have that be like a main recurring theme throughout the next half of the season or the next season or something like that. I think there was a ton of potential here, kind of something that we don't get to until 20 more years where we deal a lot more with the snake people. But man, I like the idea of this plot. Is it a series finale plot? Maybe not, but I think it would have been a good jumping off point for potential in a future season.
Yeah. It's a good season finale, kind of like, hey, we're going to tease this, and then, oh my god, the first episode of season 3, if it would have happened, would be Tongue Lashor and Ratlore and all that.
And all that.
All that stuff. Would have been absolutely amazing. Yes, you're right. It's a good season finale. A good series finale? No, because you don't have He-Man versus Skeletor. You don't even see Snake Mountain or Castle Grayskull at all.
Yeah. All right.
I like this episode individually, but as I already said, as a series finale,
like I said, I don't think it was meant to be a series finale, so I'm going to give it a pass on that. But as far as judging it on its own, let's do that. So for the final time, let's make our way to Castle Grayskull and see what we liked about the individual episode, The Cold Zone.
Where is it? We don't even know anymore.
Of course. That's good because I'm not sure I want to do this.
We have to, Cringe. We can't ignore a plea for help just because it comes from someone we don't like. So let's go.
By the power of Grayskull!
All right. Like I said, last time at Castle Grayskull, what did you like about the Cold Zone, sir?
Gotta love Attack Track. He doesn't like that land shark, though. I wish the land shark talked. I wish the land shark had a voice to it, though, other than just snapping its jaws. Scales reminds me so much of Lizard Man.
Yeah, I can see that.
His design, just the way he's built and the way he moves around and stuff. Was that John Irwin as the king?
I haven't done that page yet, but I believe so.
That was a really cool voice that they either had him do or that he did a voice for it and they modified it. I really like the King of the Snake Men voice there.
Yeah, I did too.
What about you? What do you got?
Oh, I got a lot of stuff for this one here. We got the mini Silverhawk birds at the beginning, if you saw.
Oh, God. Come on.
It looked exactly like Stargazer's bird,
Tallyhawk
and all that. So those were some cool looking birds. Land shark. We had never seen that before, I don't think, had we?
No.
And I love the conversations and just everything between the attack track and land shark. Like, just the land shark being there and what it makes attack track say or do. I just like the fact that there's a counterpart to attack track.
Yeah.
Love the snake people.
Yeah.
Cobra Khan's venom mist. That's a great weapon. And it knocks He-Man out there. I just think that's a decent one. He's just like, oh, you're going to sleep. Good weapon to have in your back pocket. This could have been a great theme for a new season. I know I already said it, but Jiminy Christmas, this could have been like the jumping off point of great episodes. I love the mental thoughts of Scales. If I had a beard. What is he talking about?
You can borrow Trapjaw's fake one from last week.
And of course we get the classic villain trying to take credit for others' work, where Cobra Khan's trying to come in at the end and take credit for. I found this the pacing of this episode was good. I was never bored. The action was good enough. You weren't 100% sure which way they were going to go with certain things, so I kind of like that, with the flame and how they're going to get it back and this, that, and the other. And I just kind of like the whole idea of this snake people. This is the first time we've kind of got to see, outside of just individual people, like get to see an actual like race of snake people. It's the first introduction to something like that. So I had a lot of fun with this episode. I didn't write any other moments down, but a lot of fun things, and including a bunch of good lines from Attack Track. So Castle Grayskull has some good moments here for the Cold Zone, and we have to do it. So one last time, let's trek over to Snake Mountain and see if anyone's still there.
No, they all left. Even Skeletor did.
There, that ought to hold it for a while. By the time it untangles itself, we should be long gone.
Impressive.
What? You saved me.
Yes.
Thank you.
No time for thanks. Must go.
What a strange day this is turning into. Well, Orko, let's get back to the attack track. Like he said, we'd better go.
Right.
You will understand soon enough, Man-at-Arms. And then I will not save you.
All right, final time. Snake Mountain. Let you go first, sir. What did you not like about the Cold Zone? Besides Skeletor's in it, and it's not a series finale, which I guess I agree with.
Well, that's pretty much what I wrote down. Standard plot. Well, listen, it's a standard plot with the whole, like you already said, misdirection of who actually did it and whatever else. But it was a fun one-shot. It was a fun one-shot episode. It still kind of sucks that it's the series finale.
Yeah, I disagree.
I'm not saying the content of the episode sucks. I'm saying the fact that this was the episode that was the final episode. Like, honestly, they could have switched this with the Problem with Power, and I would have been fine with the Problem with Power being the series finale.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, as far as the actual episode, I will have a nitpick there. I didn't like... I could have used without the He-Man drill bit. Pun intended. And again, my biggest problem is not that it's not that this is the series finale. It is. My problem is that it's a series finale. My problem, though, is not that it's not a good episode or that it's, like you said, not a good season finale. My problem is that there wasn't episodes that came after this. Like, I don't mind this being the way we end things here. I just wish that we would have gotten more. Like, this could have been the basis for such a great storyline going forward with the Snake People and He-Man and kind of that whole mythos, and could have got introduced, like you said, to Rattler and Tongue Lasher, and Cobra Khan could have played a bigger part, and they could have interacted with Skeletor, and we could have brought all this other great stuff in here. So my biggest problem is that we didn't get more after this. Like, I really wish there would have been a season 3 based on this episode. Now, I would never have said that based on everything else we saw in season 2, even though I liked a lot of episodes in season 2. It would have taken a change in, it's almost like jumping ahead with, take anything. Take Transformers, take Thundercats, take Silverhawks, where they get to a certain point and they bring in a whole different way of, it's not just bringing in more characters. It was like when they introduced the Berserkers and Thundercats, or, the movie did it for Transformers, where you just take a drastic shift in not just the people involved, but the direction you're going and the types of stories you're telling. And if they did something like that, I would have been in favor of seeing more He-Man. I wouldn't have wanted to see more of what we saw in season 1 or 2. That was done. But if you went a different direction and focused more on the different characters, I would have liked it. So that's my only regret from this episode, is that there wasn't anything after it.
No.
So, all right. One last chance to hand out some awards and rankings, so let's get to that.
This must be the room of the eternal flame. From here, the Reptons heated their entire underground world.
Or used to. That flame is definitely out cold.
And reptiles can't function when they get too cold. The opening must lead down. Stop!
At last we have you. The villains responsible for destroying the eternal flame.
All right. Last time. Awards and rankings. What do you got, sir, for Havoc Staffs or Power Swords? Last chance to hand one out.
Nothing.
Nothing on your last chance.
Nothing.
Oh, man. Missed opportunity. I will make up for it, especially since you gave him a Havoc Staff earlier on and it wasn't deserving last I will give a Power Sword to J. Michael Straczynski for writing a very, very good episode that had all kinds of potential for future episodes. So, Power Sword to J. Michael Straczynski. And ranking, where do you go for the Cold Zone?
It's an overall good episode by itself, so I'll give it 3 Orcos.
3?
Yeah. What? That's middle of the road. Okay, yeah, 3.5. I mean, come on.
It's better than that.
It's...
All right.
What are you going to give it, a 5?
I love Attack Track and Land Shark. I love that. I love that He-Man is amongst these people that don't necessarily know him, so he's dealing with the fact that they're obviously going to trust their own. I like Cobra Khan as a character. I like the introduction to the Snake People as a race of people here in this world. I love the potential this had for a different episode and different season possibly. So yeah, I am actually going to give it a 5.
Oh my God! Come on now!
Out of 5. I love.
Come on now!
I loved this episode. I was very happy with it being the final episode because it was a good episode. Now, obviously, I would have liked to have Skeletor. I would have liked to tie things up with a bow and put a nice little present on, cherry on top, etc. And there's different ways that I would have liked the series to wrap up, but I did not want to end the series on a bad episode, and we ended the series on a very good episode. So 5 out of 5.
Wow.
That's what I have to say about that. So
yeah.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back to let you guys know what you can expect now that we're done with the series, what you can expect coming up next for this Powers of Grayskull.
Well, from now on, I'll be happy to look at the Eladons and Garks from outside the sanctuary.
It was just Skeletor's meddling that made those creatures angry.
And fortunately, Ricky had a solution that helped him learn a lesson.
Anything that's really worth doing takes a lot of hard work and study. Maybe if you care about what you're doing, the work won't seem quite so hard. Well, I guess I had to grow up a little before I understood that.
Well, growing up isn't easy, Ricky. Not for anyone.
Today we learned the importance of making the right decisions. When Cobra Khan lied about He-Man, King Pythos believed him at first because Cobra Khan was one of his people. But later he learned that trusting Cobra Khan was a big mistake. So when you have to make a decision about something, don't just jump at the first or the easiest answer. Think it through. Look at both sides and then decide. That way, whatever decisions you make will have a better chance of being the correct ones. See you next time.
All right, thanks for sticking with us. And you probably are wondering, wait a second, they just did the last episode of the series. What in the heck are they doing now? What's next? And there's 45 episodes of this first part, so what in the heck are we doing episode 45? Mike, help them answer those questions. What's going on?
Episode 45 is the Filmation He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series recap. We will be breaking down characters that did not appear in the show but were toys. We will be breaking down our favorite and least favorite season 1 and season 2 moments. We'll be talking about the voice acting. We'll be talking about all kinds of good stuff.
We'll have the data for you guys as far as who got the most power, swords, and Havoc staffs. We'll have our least favorite and most favorite episodes overall. We'll have what Mike and I rated the episode overall on average. Who liked the episode more? Who liked season 1 more? Who liked season 2 more? Where did we fall for that? Who wrote the most episodes, and kind of look back at some of the writers and who we liked, who we didn't like. And then I'm also going to be bringing a little bit from some commentary on the special features from all the DVDs. If there's anything worth bringing up, I will have that ready for you guys. And then once episode 45 is in the books, before we get to that,
okay,
how can people be a part of the celebration of this whole series, and how can people?
So for episode 45,
yeah, for episode 45, if someone wants to be a part or get comments in that we'll address on the show, what's their last chance to do that, and what's the deadline?
Okay, the deadline will be.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I'm trying to think here. The deadline will be Sunday, March 15th, 2015. At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, comment on all the episode posts. You can send email to feedback@geekcastradio.com, put in the subject line POGS TOE episode 45. If you don't want to do that email address, you can send the email directly to me, tfg1mike@gmail.com. You can leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. We've been going at this podcast, people, for 3 years now. Well, yeah, about 3 or 4 years. We started episode 0 back in 2011, but episode 1 aired in 2012. So about 3 years we've been doing. It took us 3 years to get through 2 years of He-Man. Holy crap. So leave feedback in iTunes. Leave us reviews on there. You can follow us on Twitter @PowOfGrayskull. Is the Powers of Grayskull Twitter. You can follow @GeekCast Radio and tweet us there as well. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is yours?
OptimusSolo.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. You have until March 15th, 2015 to call the voicemail line. Please leave your name. Some sort of screen name, whatever, first name, however you want to be called on the show. Please note there is about a 5-minute time limit. I don't want people to get cut off, so there's about a 5-minute time limit. Anything else you want me to bring up before I really close it out?
Nope, just looking forward to wrapping this thing up and taking a good look back at the last 130 episodes, and obviously ready for what's coming next after that.
Mm-hmm. We hope you enjoyed the tales today, and don't forget to join us on our next adventure when we'll take a look back at the entire Filmation He-Man series. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
the one and only OptimusSolo.
By the power and for the honor of Grayskull, you all have the power. And next up, after episode 45, after the recap, in episode 45.5, Kevin and I are going to do a Secret of the Sword commentary. So that's what's coming up, folks.
Be ready.